have to sort this out on my own. Without the council. And without you. This isn't about you. I can't stay here any longer. Not now. I have to sort this out on my own. Without the council. And without you. This isn't about you.
Seen for generations, a Dyad in the Force.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dyad and the Force, episode 80. 80. We are getting up there in episodes, and it's crazy. We are going to be talking about, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 5. We're going to check up on the fandom as well. We're making this a weekly segment where we're just going to go around and rag on the bad takes out there. Which is totally, I mean, some people would call it toxic. I would call it therapy. But, Choco, what's going on with you, Choco?
Woo! I am just having a good time and enjoying Obi-Wan, you know? For me, this is like, it's like candy, you know? We're getting so much cool stuff just in general in the fandom. Plus, we just received... cars just flying by. I don't know how loud that was if my mic picked it up.
Just received cars flying by.
Yeah. No, but Shadow of the Sith, Stories of Light and Dark, Stories of Jedi and Sith. Light and Dark is a Clone Wars book. Yeah, just a lot of really cool stuff is just coming out. This is a fun time if you can get through, you know, kind of the crap, but the cream rises to the top.
Absolutely. We are joined by two very special guests, one making their triumphant return to Dyad in the Force in Julia, and one making their debut, Young.
Hi.
So we'll start with Young. If you can introduce yourself to the chat, let them know what you do, what you talk about, and where they can find you on social.
Oh, well. Hi, I'm Young. Element 7 was really, really nice to reach out to me. I'm still trying to figure out whether or not I was punked, but I'm here, so I'm going to say no. This could be a fever dream. I'm not entirely sure yet. But I guess the best place people can find me is on TikTok at foreveryung 1300, Young with no O. And when I figure out TikTok for the night, then I will post a video with some sort of Star Wars take. But beyond that, I have no idea how to do TikTok. It's so bad.
I reached out to you because I saw one of your takes on Reva, and you had absolutely called the twist that I was bamboozled with? Because
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just talking to like a mutual of mine because we were talking about Reva's story, and everyone was trying to speculate about her, and obviously we now know she is the youngling. And for me, I would have accepted that, but I'm just like, that was just too obvious. We planted it too obvious. But obviously my hot take was not the right take, which is fine. I could be a dude bro about it, but I don't have the energy to do that. But then I thought, okay, well, if she is the youngling, then there's more to her absolute rage at Obi-Wan and the Jedi, and just with life in general. So I'm like, wonder if she's just going after Vader. Don't know how that's going to work, but it could happen. And it's like, oh shit, okay, that happened. But then that leads me to my next question, where it's like, Vader, why? Like, why did you allow this child to be with you for 10 years and basically just dangle her at the end of a string? Like, that's cold. That is really cold. So I want to know Vader's motivations for lack of a way to say it, allowing this to happen for 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, so I got bamboozled because my entire thought process was like she was playing this kind of a big kind of narrative around being abandoned, like the Jedi abandon you and they're the villains. And so I thought, I was latching onto the, other younglings had been rescued, Grogu, and I mean, spoiler alert, Gunji, like there's younglings have been saved, but she was abandoned and left. And so that was her grudge against the Jedi Order. So I did not see, that angle. Julia, welcome back to Dyad in the Force.
Hello.
You would like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Julia, primarily on TikTok at juliachristine77. If I'm looking down, it's my dog is sitting right here next to me, and so I'm just petting him and saying hi. So if you're wondering what I'm looking at down here, Buster is down here too. But yeah, juliachristine77 on TikTok. I also am part of the co-host of Star Wars English Class podcast, myself and Fern at Always Fern on TikTok. We have a new episode coming out on Monday, which is about Star Wars and fairy tales, and it's really, really good. Fern did the research for that one, and we talked about the elements of fairy tale that you see in Star Wars, and then we'll do another Obi-Wan Kenobi analysis after the last 3 episodes have wrapped. So that's kind of our plan for the next couple weeks. But yeah.
That sounds really fascinating. I can't wait.
It was really good. We wanted to. I know Fern wanted to do that episode, and so it seemed like a good time to do it. And yeah, it's really good. So that will come out tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Monday. Sorry, I keep thinking it's Sunday. It will come out Monday.
And Choco, what's up with you, man?
I can't wait to listen to Star Wars English Class. I've always been fascinated by the nature between like the oral traditions of storytelling that have been happening for thousands of years, and how it plays into, what is Star Wars, the tropes behind Star Wars, and how it's a continuation of that. So that all I'm thinking about is like, oh, I have to listen to this now.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
It's good. I'm the editor, so I can tell you it's good.
We have some really great people in the chat. Let's see here. We have CJ, we have Julia, Inception. We have Cal4, we have Torrance. We have a lot of people saying welcome to the community, Young. A lot of people have now followed you, so mission complete.
Oh God.
You're gonna get a lot more friends. You're gonna make a lot more friends, and you're gonna get super busy talking to everybody and getting to know that. I know that you and Julia will definitely hit it off and find some great things to talk about. But this is a fantastic community to be a part of. And shout out to DePaul.
To the Eggy Pocket?
Yeah.
DePaul super chatted a $10 large ramen crate. What up? Dropping some love. Hi Julia. Hi foreveryung. Hi Dyads.
Shout out to DePaul, the
You're the
unofficial
master
channel
DePaul?
sponsor, for the $10 ramen drop.
Is this for a new ramen experience? Is this now going towards a a different ramen experience.
You know what? We might actually have to change it because this might be like us getting biscuits or something. And
Oh yeah, some crumpets and
yeah,
high tea. That's what you guys
scone,
can.
the scone experience. Are we gonna get like
Yeah.
scone drops now?
I love that.
I think for brand purposes we're gonna keep it ramen drops, but for sure this is gonna go towards whatever we feel like is the event in London. I think some people in the chat, even DePaul, is saying fish and chips.
Yes.
yeah.
Shepherd's pie, perhaps. We'll see. I think we have a couple people in the UK.
Little Scotch egg action.
Yeah. We have Zalusa Mare, thank you for tuning in to Dyad in the Force. I believe it is your first time in here, so welcome. We have a couple people in the UK. Particularly, Theories by T. We have Connor in the chat. Some people who are from the UK that will provide guidance as to what we can possibly make an event out of when everybody goes over the pond. But definitely looking forward to it. Marianne Lawrence says, hi, Young. And Harith says, are we blind? Deploy the likes. Yes, deploy the likes, people. You can always do that, and that is always free, and no one will ever question you. Also follow Julia Christine on TikTok and foreveryung 1300 on TikTok.
We also got Josh in the chat. Mesa Windu. From...
What's up, man? How is your day going?
I'm still laughing about what happened to him. That's
oh, did that happen during the stream, right?
Star Wars social media was in his life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently in his walls.
Living. Oh no, they're here now. The new Star Wars.
Spoiler! It's actually him.
Because we've been speculating, the new social media manager is doing an incredible job. Like they're hitting back against like toxic people, and they're like really interacting. Like, is it someone in the community? Like we feel like there's like an insider that potentially it could be, because it seems like they know a lot.
Yeah.
It's an Among Us little mystery.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing though is it's showing us that like there's an element of the fandom that is regrettably not willing to move forward with things.
Right.
And after Celebration and after seeing this type of thing, the Star Wars is just gonna let them go. You know, it's like you had a toxic relationship and they're like, all right, we're gonna start moving forward, and if you can keep up, then keep up. If not, then I'm sorry. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that theory has been floating around for a while now, that it is someone that is on the inside. Someone that knows us and will expose us. Is it Young? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't have the energy for that, guys. I can barely run TikTok.
Kenny in the chat says, holy crap, we have a celebrity in the chat. Let's go. We've always had celebrities in the chat. Everybody here is a celebrity, Choco included. Choco's being followed by Star Wars as well.
Yeah, good. But what's cool about this community is like we care about what's in your brain. You know what I mean? Like when we see people, we like your content, we like your takes. That's all we care about. I've never looked at a follower count and been like, oh, we'll get you on, because it's like, no, I'm just like talking to cool people.
This was the case with Young. I mean, that was the same thing. She said the same thing to me, and I was like, no, it's not about the followers.
Well, I only said that because, again, my reach is so small. Like, I don't think any of my videos have hit over 500, except maybe my first one, which is a really weird cosplay thirst trap. Please ignore that. But just the fact that, because my reach is so small, that it would get to a larger platform. So when I saw that you had liked one of my videos, Element, I'm like, oh, shit, this is great. And then you liked another one, and I clicked on your name again just to verify. And then I saw that you were following me. I'm just like, so honestly, right now I am trying to keep my shit together, but I'm just like,
that was me like a year ago, where I had like 50 followers. I think Choco followed me when I had like 50 followers or something, and I was like, what have I done? And then now I'm here. So you can
You're awesome. That's what you did.
You'll figure it out. You'll, you know, if you have
friends.
things to say, like you're saying, if you have stuff to say that people like you'll show up on the right people's pages, and yeah. Like that being very aggressively wanting to be pet right now. So if you see flailing limbs, this is what's happening.
Full disclosure, I mainly followed for Buster.
Yeah, it's just for him. It's just all for Buster.
Sweet baby.
Yeah.
I followed because she was a Galaxy Truther. I think just I had never like I was a Rey Kenobi person, but like just I'd never met anyone else that was so dedicated to the truth about Corky. And I was like,
dedicated is one word for it, I suppose.
Yeah. Hello, Brooke. Welcome to the show. Thank you for dropping by. I'd like to call attention to the new home for my There Are More of Us sticker by Far Far Away Factory. And if I could take this time to point some eyeballs and attention to farfarawayfactory.com. This is Brooke Dazzler, or B Dazzler's shop, where she does all kinds of trinkets. I can't scroll down. This is this is just a still image of the website, but go to farfarawayfactory.com and get your earrings today, and yeah, support the community.
Absolutely.
But back to the show. What were we talking about?
The non-toxicity of the fandom and speculating who's now running the Star Wars
This is true.
TikTok account, Twitter account. So I'm gonna go turn down my air even more. I'm in Florida, and it is decided it's just going to be nothing but humid, and I am dying in my apartment right now. So please excuse me.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Connor says, "Is your chat meant to be on display?" I mean, I will periodically display it on the stream, yes. But for the most part, you know, sometimes it can distract from the conversation. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll go in on it, and sometimes I'll just, you know.
Looking? Found someone you have, I would say.
You know, just do that every once in a while. Josh says, Choco was one of the very first Star Wars fans I met on the app. Literally one of the first videos I ever saw on my FYP.
Woo! An OG.
Choco was one of the first comments that I saw that was also correcting misinformation on my videos. Like, I started doing these videos, and like my full-time job of, you know, as it pertains to being a creator, was answering all of the questions in the comments. And then like one day I saw Choco's name, and he was also like blitzing the comments and correcting things. And then I clicked on, and he was making videos, and I was like, yes. So that's how it started. So
a dyad in the Force.
Absolutely. So just to kind of clarify, Young, it doesn't matter if your reach is small. Getting you on here means it is amplified.
I'm so grateful. Just so again, I'm enjoying the ride at this point. It's like that the sound anarchy, but you know, Star Wars. I was like, I don't know what that means, but I love it. So that's really where I'm at right now. So if I'm super quiet, it is one, because I am starstruck. Also, two, because I'm sort of looking at the chat as well. Could I actually kind of divert our attention to that real quick?
Sure.
Someone in the chat said that Voss is going to come in and save Obi-Wan in the last episode. I personally would love that, but this is one of my hot takes. I'm really sorry to break anybody's heart, but just for me, I thought I actually saw him in the tomb. He was one of the very last crypts, I guess you could say. Again, it was very blurry, but it looked like, if you like from viewers left, it looked like him in the tomb. I probably wasn't him, but I saw that and I'm just like, oh.
So I saw the person. I did see the person. However, Quinlan's the stripe is a tattoo, and it's very pronounced, and I didn't see it on that face. And also I feel like we saw Obi-Wan react when he heard the name, and if he had saw him, I feel like we would have also got a reaction. Yeah.
Well, I also
Marianne and Lawrence subscribed to the Dyad.
Hey,
Thank you, Marianne.
welcome.
So I did see some other people who kind of thought that they might have also seen Quinlan in there and said that the reason why we didn't see the tattoo clearly, because I thought I saw something. Again, my brain just wants to make me as sad as possible. So I'm like, Tim, like, no, it's not. But it was because the amber or whatever suspension fluid gel that they're in kind of messed with the color, so we couldn't see it as well. And then even though Obi-Wan didn't go down the hall, or at least I might not remember this, but he didn't go down the hall the entire way. But I agree, if it was Quinn, then maybe Obi-Wan would have stopped and looked at that. So I'm totally going with you, Choco, on this. Like, the irrational part of my brain is like, yes, believe Choco, believe everyone who has hope in this world. But another part of my brain's like, but what if?
So I don't know if he made it to the very end. I think the youngling was at the very end, right? I think he kind of made it through the entire hallway. I can't be sure. I can't confirm that, but yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement. I do think that if he had seen Quinlan there would have been a visible reaction. I am just on Quinlan watch 24/7, and so I just want him in everything. If we don't get him in Kenobi, we're gonna get him in Jedi Survivor. It's about the paths. It's about people who are surviving. So we'll see.
I need a separate show just about the paths, and it's just him going around relocating like Force sensitive children.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Zalusa says, Element, I wanted to say that I love your background on that TikTok live, but it ended. Thank you, Zalusa. CJ says, Julia was the first for me to directly interact with the TikTok community because of the summer reading last year.
Oh yeah, we did a summer reading program last summer.
Tell us about it.
It was just people making videos of their books they were reading, specifically Star Wars books, doing little like charts, reading charts and stuff for people. So it was fun.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny. It's so funny how like the inception of people in this community, where they came from, the trajectory that they took. Was it through Choco? Was it through me? Was it through someone else? Was it through a mutual? And it's so fascinating to think of how many people we've reached just by virtue of like connection alone, just outward trajectory. It's great. But let's start on this fandom checkup. Is there anything out there in the universe, in the galaxy, that is worth a therapy session over? Anything? Bad takes?
I mean, here's my hot take. I personally think that it's getting to the point where the healthiest way to deal with this is to let the hot takes flounder. Like, I think we owe ourselves as a community to a certain extent when people are, especially accounts that seem to be existing to bait people, to get people's attention, to say crazy things that they know are controversial. I see like the level of just chaos and like deep frustration and anger it causes in us and like friends of mine, that I would love for us to just like see a bad take and be like, well, and ignore. Like, I think we have this tendency to want to correct people, and I think there's to a certain degree, there's only so much we can do to correct people whose goal is to try to stir stuff up. So like learning as a community how better to differentiate between like, this is important to like correct misinformation, but also this guy's clearly doing this for clout, so I'm not going to stitch them and give them what they want. And sort of that's kind of my take, is honestly I'd love to see people just ignoring more of the bad takes, to be completely honest with you, and doing what we want to do and talk about what we want to talk about. But that's me. That's kind of where I'm at with the whole situation, because I think the community deserves to focus on what we want to focus on.
Well, I actually agree with you 100%. I think the goal of this segment is not to spotlight the person with the bad take. Mm-hmm. It is to spotlight the bad take and kind of make sure that the people out there have all of the information, right? Yeah. Just like my channel was never about you know, the toxic people. It was always about fixing the information around it. So for sure, I mean, I agree with you. We're definitely not going to name names here or bring attention and light to any individual person. But I would love to know if there's any information out there that is being spread that is false or incorrect. And if nobody has anything for this checkup, we can just move on to Kenobi.
I've been blocking people so much. Like, honestly, the only time I see things sometimes is when people stitch people, and I'm like, no, I blocked that person, and then they stitch them, and then they get brought onto my page anyway. But that's, you know, I feel like I've really kind of worked to a point where I feel like there's less bad takes in terms of the content over this past week. It's more been about people's interactions, and that's kind of where I draw the line in terms of, like, you know, policing how other people interact with the content. But I haven't seen anything too crazy, but yeah, maybe it's because everybody likes the episodes. There was no need to nitpick, but I don't know.
What's funny is when it comes to like nitpicks and things, I actually think this episode had the most like issues that you could nitpick, but none of them have ever been like mentioned by anyone. Huh?
Elaborate. Just make this
exercise. Just small stuff of like when we're in the like some of the stuff for the not rebels but the refugees in the cave just kind of felt weird. Like they should have gotten on the ship earlier, or like been prepared to move out if they were just waiting for one person. Obviously, the Star Destroyer can't always stop everyone, but I do feel like it probably could have stopped the one ship and deployed TIE fighters to suppress any flight out. I mean, but of course, this could all be answered if Vader is doing something specific because he wants them out of there. But like, there's quite a few small things like that I consider nitpicks, right? I consider them people make choices and they aren't always the right one, and people in stories are bound to make those choices and we may not know why. That's not a plot hole, but it did make me think.
I think that just proves that like it's always about personal feeling and story. It's not about like, I think people assume Star Wars is a formula and it needs to be done correctly and all the right elements need to be put in, but it's more like a soup. You know what I mean? Like you put a bunch of stuff in and sometimes you like how it tastes and sometimes you don't. And if it's all about feeling to me. So if it feels right, if it feels like Star Wars, you're not going to be as focused on the little nitpicks. And to me, this last episode felt like an episode of the Clone Wars, where like you suspend your disbelief with animation to a certain extent, or like thinking about like, well, why are they doing this way? And like, I don't care. I'm having a great time. We're on a little adventure. The characters are experiencing certain things. And so I think it just proves that like focusing on the universe, you know, holding to these almost scientific rules is really missing a lot of the joy of the experience. So, but yeah,
not to mention, no Star Wars holds up to that level of scrutiny.
No,
not a single one.
Yeah, nothing is perfect. Also, Brooke said that Christina Ariel and Rexon were refugees.
Yeah. I saw that they got to walk around in the background. That's so cool.
I did not notice this. I think my attention was on the Orbesh, but that's awesome. And I like what CJ says. Nitpicks are always only as big as you personally want to think the issue is, which I'm going to shed some light on, or at least provide an example for the nitpick that Choco mentioned about the Star Destroyer. They don't have a blockade set up. You know, it's just one Star Destroyer, and Jabeam, I feel like they chose Jabeam because the lanes going out from this planet is probably best suited for escape. There's probably multiple lanes going out of the planet, so I mean the Star Destroyer could have been over here, and then they flew away here, so we'll see.
Also, they're not going to leave Vader behind. He's on the ground, and they're like, he's like, no, you don't leave the boss behind. It actually makes me wonder. I wonder how much of the Imperial experience is just trying not to die. Like I meant to make a skit on it, but that's my whole thought process for episode 4 when Leia's in the coat, and I just imagine stormtroopers walking. One of them's like, "Is that a little girl in this?" It's like, "Listen, man, you do not step out of line." Like,
above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I'm going to be. Someone mentioned last week transferred off the station, hopefully going to a nicer place. I only got 12 more days to this. I'm not doing anything to jeopardize that. But even then, another one of my things is their ability to see through the helmets, because apparently they can't see shit in those. So that kind of brings me to another, I guess you'd say, nitpick. And I think a lot of people mentioned this, but like Reva and Obi-Wan were having the conversation quite loudly, in my opinion, with stormtroopers like less than 6 feet away. It's like the stormtroopers aren't reacting to this. So, I mean, the bucket's probably stuck in any type of sensory type receiving of information, but then also just again, it's above my pay grade. I'm not getting into any of this.
It's and through a sealed door, no less.
I like
honestly this episode. Oh, I was just gonna say a lot of those things. This episode specifically were incredibly Shakespearean. I feel like the weirdness of the episode, especially the staging, the rebels the past hideout very much felt like theater. I felt like this was staged very much in a theater production style. Like you can imagine the sort of front of a stage towards the audience, where you have like the outside of the cave, and then you have the inside, and so characters doing asides where it's like they absolutely can hear you, but that's not how it works. Like those characters are speaking in an aside to another character, no one else can hear it, even though realistically they should. Characters appearing from like behind, tapestries or whatever to be like, I've been here the whole time. Like this episode was incredibly Shakespearean, so I had a great time with it. Like you're saying, Young, like they should be able to hear, but like in the rules of like the theater of this performance, they can't because the story says they can't. So I love little things like that.
It's gonna sound so weird. Oh. But I think I just fell in love with you a little bit with that analysis. Like, that's why I love this community, because everyone just has such different reception to what they're seeing, but it's in such a cerebral way. I'm just like, this is so cool. I love that take. I absolutely love that this was a Shakespearean in the Octagon or in the Globe Theater.
Absolutely.
That was amazing. I'm just...
Oh, no, everybody...
I hope that... I think that... See, now I'm having trouble picking between the two, because that makes so much sense, and we all know that everyone on the dark side is just a theater kid that didn't make it. But it's also really hilarious to think the stormtroopers all heard. They all know what's happening. They all know, and they're like, if Vader knows that we know, we will be brutally murdered. So I'm just gonna stand here, and when she tells me to shoot, I'm gonna shoot. Like that's what I'm gonna do. I like both of those equally, so I'm having some trouble.
I like the analogy of the staging that you said, because this could have been filmed all on stagecraft or volume, so it is basically a stage for all of them. They got to do their little marks and stuff and just be where they need to be. And I think we had this same discussion for episode 4 when Tala, rest in peace, when Tala was speaking into the comlink with a guy with like an operator right next to her, and she was like, there's no security. Like I was just like, okay, that has to be like a stage whisper, and nobody is supposed to hear her. So definitely agree there. Welcome, Chris, Star Wars lawyer in the chat. If you don't know who Young is, please follow her, foreveryung 1300 on TikTok.
And also a shout out for Chris, Star Wars lawyer. He has a podcast, Too Black Too Nerdy podcast, and just today got to interview Adam Christopher, the author of Shadow of the Sith.
Very cool.
So yeah, super cool.
Like the de-aging to me wasn't the best for this week's episode, but I ignored it to enjoy the epic moment anyway. I mean that, yeah. You just gotta
He's 40, and he was playing 19. Like, cut him some slack.
But we also got to see Padawan Anakin played by our boy Hayden Christensen. Real quick, I do this to myself every single week. I watch it with my friends at like 8 o'clock Central Time because we're all scattered across the United States. But so I have to avoid social media like it's the plague. And my safe social media for the day is normally like Pinterest. 2 hours before I saw the episode, I got it spoiled for me. I am still very irate about it. But then, you know, when we see Coruscant, I immediately put the pieces together in my head. But then we see the ponytail and the Padawan braid, and then we see our boy. Oh my God. I was squeaking. I wasn't like squeaking. I was literally squeaking. I was so excited. And then also just to see Hayden's smile again. It's a beautiful smile. And I love him so much. Okay, I'm done fangirling. Moving on. I'm so sorry.
No, keep going.
No. Brooke in the chat brings out an excellent video by Boba Fett. Also follow Boba Fett, awesome content creator. They have a great video about de-aging. Ewan has finer lines that are easier to smooth, whereas Hayden has more harsh lines and no beard, so it's hard to de-age without compromising the performance. And if I lost any of, because I saw someone on YouTube who like further de-aged him, and like if you took snapshots it looked good, but when he spoke he looked like a monster. And I don't want Superman's mustache to happen ever again. It haunts me.
Well, even Luke in the Book of Boba Fett, to me, there's nothing behind those eyes. Right? Like, there's nobody home. Whereas like here, I think it was Star Wars Austin did on his story earlier today, was doing like a reenactment of Luke's monologue of talking to Grogu, and it was so funny. But like you do miss so much of the performance, but like that sparkle in Hayden's eye and the sort of, like you said, his smile, right? Like all of that is so important, and it's more important than him looking accurate in age. I would also say this is a memory, right? So like if you want to even get in universe about it, there's no reason that his memory is going to like accurately, you know, describe, you know, what's happening here. So if you think of it in terms of like that, I think that also helps with suspension of disbelief. But yeah, you wouldn't want like a, no offense to Luke in Book of Boba Fett, but you are like a Ken doll that's being puppeted. And so it's, I don't want that.
It was better than the Mandalorian.
Good, but there's this more to me. It was about the performance and feeling like, in all honesty, I would rather have one of the body doubles just play Luke at this point, so you actually get a real human being and that spark. And you saw that with Hayden. You saw an actual performance from him as Anakin, and that's priceless, really. So that's kind of my preference, I guess.
Would you say that though? The one thing I really love about Luke in Book of Boba Fett is it what gave me the ability to visualize from the expanded universe Luke with two U's, the derpy clone.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I imagine. He looks the same, but you're like, there's something
wrong here.
I don't trust that thing. Yeah, that was Luke.
Jesus, which made me very, very happy. The mullet is back in all of its glory.
Brooke, literally, as I was watching at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I was like, somebody check on Brooke. Somebody make sure Brooke's okay. With my cat, because I was, yeah.
Josh says, bro, the guy that served as the body for Luke in the Book of Boba Fett already looked like Luke.
Exactly. He looks incredible. I'm kind of in love with him, to be completely honest. So I think you should maybe just reprise the role for fun.
Do you think that?
And then we get that actor like an awesome job and a chance,
exactly.
like Vivian, you know?
Do you think they should play the body and the likeness, but still use the machine learned voice of Hamill?
No. I'm very pro recasting though. Like if they ever wanted to do a flashback of like, here's Obi-Wan and Satine, you're on the run, I'm like, just give me a new actor. Like Ewan was recast, he's a recast. James Arnold Taylor as a voice is a recast. Like, I think I very much believe in letting us in our imaginations imagine these characters beyond association with one particular person, because you're putting a time limit and you're putting a lot of limits on what you can do personally. And I would rather just have them. I mean, Luke's voice is somewhat unique, but it's also kind of Southern California, just like Guy. So I think you can probably pretty easily replicate that. Yeah.
No, it would be very interesting to see a recast. I'm not against it at all.
Now, Mesa Wendy in the chat said Vader is the only one I'd understand doing that for.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones is the exception. But even then, because the Force Unleashed Vader, that's Chad Vader, a YouTuber from the E-Bombs World days, and they killed it. Also, I would love for Star Wars lawyer Chris to get that job at some point in time. So I gotta go back and forth on it.
I mean, if it gives us more Star Wars content, I'm on board. Yeah, I'm very much on board.
Absolutely, I do.
Let's also appreciate, though, that this episode gave so much love to the Attack of the Clones fan base. Because I always say the Attack of the Clones fans are the best Star Wars fans, because they have been getting their butt whooped for years of just liking the you know what I mean? Like
the movie.
It wasn't the most popular film, but now we get the 20th anniversary. That panel was amazing, and then this is just they're being fed. They're being fed.
Absolutely. Star Wars lawyer says that's high praise, and then I say Connor. Yeah, so let's move on to our highlights for the episode. Obviously, we've been talking kind of casually about the episode just in general, but if there's something you want to highlight, feel free to bring it up. I'm for sure highlighting all of the Arbesh on the wall and the lightsabers. Unfortunately, I don't, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Choco, I don't believe there's any lightsaber hilts that are recognizable. The only one that I could see was Katuni's. It had the same flare at the emitter, and the hilt itself was very smooth. And that's not to say that these hilts are from people who have died. I think via the path they had come through, and they might have given up their hilt and their robes, and then gone and witness protection basically, and found a new identity and a new life.
In fact, I will go off and say that there's. Because we saw a collection of lightsabers that the Inquisitors had, right? Those would be all the collected lightsabers of the ones that were caught or who died or whatnot. So these couldn't really be that. These would be the ones that were surrendered specifically so that they could, do what Obi-Wan said, go out in the desert and bury it. They left that life behind, which also tells us at least that many Jedi are out there in the wild.
Or it could be that they're keeping them because even if that Jedi is dead, it's a very important object. Even you can think of it as an object with religious significance, and to know that it's going to be kept as like a trophy and or destroyed, it might be beneficial to save, to keep them. They might be thinking, well, maybe someone will need it in the future, and we can even just keep it just in case, because we're going to treat it with respect as opposed to like what the Inquisitors would do with it.
Yeah,
or someone robbed Grievous. They found Grievous's stronghold and just jacked him.
Yeah.
It was rough.
I like to think that all of the gathering younglings found a way out. Because for all of the youngling scenes we've had, none have been a Rhodian, none have been a Thalothian, none have been a Nautolan, what is Biff?
Yeah.
Ithorian? Is Biff a
he was a Thorian, yeah.
We haven't seen any of the gathering younglings in these scenes, and then we already know that Gunji survives.
And we know Hugh Yang survived, so maybe that's connected. Maybe Hugh Yang got the band back together, and they went off being circus performers for a bit to escape.
I actually made a TikTok about this one because I absolutely lost my shit when we saw Gunji in the Bad Batch trailer. I'm also very excited for that show. If you guys ever do any more talks like this for Bad Batch.
Oh, absolutely. Let's come up.
Oh, you're definitely a series regular now.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
And of course, we're coming up with Andor soon. I mean, we're booked for the finale of Kenobi, the live watch along we do on Wednesday nights. If you ever feel like you have the time to react live to any shows with us, Andor is the next one.
I mean, Emily and I think probably do want to be on one episode together to talk about our boy, Kyle, who we have been hyping for literally 18 months. Kyle Solar, who is playing the Imperial figure who's hunting Cassian. We have been his sole fan club for this fandom. And so we're very much looking forward to finding out literally anything about his character, who we have been obsessed with for almost the entire time I've been on TikTok. So if you want to join #Kyle Nation, you can get on board for what we imagine is going to be a poor little meow meow Imperial we can all feel bad about liking. If you want to get on board that now, we're taking applications for the fan club. So
I will submit mine as soon as we're off of this.
Hopefully his name stays Kyle in the
It's
show.
going to be weird if it's not Kyle, because we've done a lot of work already, and it's kind of all the merch says Kyle, so it's going to be difficult.
Maybe it'll just be Keeley.
Keeley, yeah.
Brooke in the chat said, Hu Yang just regenerated. I understood that reference.
Yeah. You really need to watch it, though. You really do.
Watch what?
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Oh.
I'm not a Whovian, as you would say. I'm not opposed to it, but like I know I understand how people feel when they look at the Star Wars universe and say I don't know where to join, because that's how I feel about Doctor Who. And I've tried hopping in certain places and I get confused. Like sometimes Santa's like chilling there a lot. I don't know.
They're very much isolated, like adventure, like chronicles.
Yeah.
The moon was a dragon that left and then laid an egg that was the same moon, and I was like, okay, did I have it?
So it's like it deals with timey-wimey things, and so a lot of things will not chronologically or just narratively make sense in continuity. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast with time travel. So I don't think anything needs to make sense other than the narrative of the episode that you're watching. There will be, of course, like continuity and in-universe connections. You'll meet people he's met in the past, but for the most part, I think you can start with Eccleston. I forget if that's up in season 9.
He's the Ninth Doctor, season 1 of the reboot. Ninth Doctor is my favorite, so I always say don't underestimate that season.
Connor said it best. We've made Choco a Potterhead. We're gonna make him a Whovian.
Mark.
Yeah, you guys also had me watch Lord of the Rings for the first time as well,
Yes.
the trilogy.
Yes.
I had seen Fellowship when it came out, but
Yeah, that's something. Yeah.
The One Ring.
Yeah. Can I just say, in terms of highlights for the episode, I mentioned earlier talking about the staging and the Shakespearean. Someone earlier commented, "Revenge does wonders for the will to live," and that was something that Fern and I had talked about. We did a recap of the first 3 episodes and talked about the sort of themes in it. And I was talking about how Reva's name is Reva, and her whole character thing is revenge. And I was like, I love the tradition in Star Wars of naming characters exactly what they are. Like, this is Han Solo. He's a loner. And you're like, yes, thank you. Perfect. And so I feel like I knew that she was going to go on this sort of revenge quest, but I made a TikTok about this. I love, first of all, Rupert Friend is having the time of his life. He is eating up every scene he's in, where he's just like absolutely going for it. And the way he it's very Shakespearean to plot to have someone think you're dead and then reappear for revenge. It was so good. So it was so much fun to see him reappear. And I love that they're talking about the fact that the dark side allows you, if you're angry enough, you could be too angry to die. And like that is just a power that you can harness, but like at what cost? And so I loved the little twist. I was talking about how Vader loves pranks. Like Vader just loves a good prank. In Empire, and it fits with Empire, right? Because he's literally like pulls a fast one on them and is like hiding behind a door. So this is just something he likes to do. He just likes to pull little pranks with his employees. It's one of his times. So I loved that very Shakespearean, like, surprise, it's me, I've had my revenge, like very campy, really, really fun. I had a great time with that.
I love that you mentioned the camp too, because it's always been campy, and like I keep talking about this, but picturing the Grand Inquisitor hiding in a closet on the Star Destroyer, just waiting, like okay, and then Anakin's like, okay, all right, so she's down there right now. Can you get here? Can you get here right now? Like, did you park down the street? Okay, good.
Wait, where's your
Like,
pin?
am I gonna walk out? What am I gonna say?
Yeah.
Oh, I actually thought that was hilarious when he's like, you know, kicking Reva when she's down, but then he's like, my pin. I'm like, okay, that's your pin, okay.
And then also that line of like you mentioned, revenge does wonders for the will to live, but terrible things to your skin and teeth. That's what that's what I've noticed. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also wanted to call into question the articles that have been saying that no, Quizzy doesn't have his eyes, but he does. It's just the lighting of the show. It's not glowy like an animation, but on the close-ups he has white eyes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
They were pretty yellow. I feel like it's kind of almost like with Dooku, where they come and go based on like the level of anger that he seems to be experiencing. I feel like they were kind of yellow in that. They're pretty yellow in that scene, but maybe I'm just misremembering.
No, they were very yellow in that scene. In the first episode, they were brown in the first scene, and then after he stops Reva, you see them are yellow at that point. So they do very much come and go.
It's like a mood ring. How much darkness is running through me right now, and the color of my eyes will indicate how fast you should run at this very moment.
It's a drama indicator. Like, if you see his eyes like that, you're gonna get some weird speeches.
If you work at the Fortress Inquisitorius, in the handbook, there's like the eyeballs, so you can like look at the chart where you know the level of stress you're dealing with.
And that's why the stormtroopers didn't point it. Do you see his eyes?
The handbook says to stay out of the way.
I love that. I love it so much. Just kind of speaking of Vader again. My God, the sheer power of that man. Oh, that's all I got to say. But also just like the level of, again, in my opinion, like cat and mouse that he played with Reva, the level of disrespect of not even drawing his own lightsaber. Of I think, Element, you said using Force Tai Chi. I mean, it's true. I think you guys mentioned this last week, but I don't remember what martial art it is, but like using the momentum of your aggressor and or attacker against them. That's exactly what he did. And he was like, I'm gonna move here, I'm gonna move here. And there were actually a couple times I noticed in the fight where his back was to Reva, just entirely, not doing this, just gonna use your saber against you. But again, that to me, this is cold. And I just felt so bad for Reva at that time, because I think she used Obi-Wan's opening to get to him, but I think she also just snapped at that point. Mm-hmm. And then with the flashback, I thought Moses Ingram did so well with just showing the trauma of seeing Anakin / Vader come at her again. And then my last point is, Choco, you made a TikTok today about she like pats her old wound that she sustained from Anakin at the temple. And the fact that you also mentioned that he stabbed her at the exact same place. I'm wondering, is he playing a game again, knowing that she would survive stabbed there? So again, it comes back to my original question, like, Vader, what the fuck are you doing, man? Well, he's absolutely completely batshit insane, but also probably playing Frank or Angle. But it's just like, damn, this is okay. gonna go this way. Please don't.
He was using his Byakugan absolute defense.
I mean, it's very thematic. Vader, if anyone would know, being obsessed with a particular wound, with a particular wrong, like, I think he would understand the significance of, like, injuring in the same way. I mean, look what he did with Obi-Wan, right? Like, he is very much someone who cares about the symbolic significance of the things that he's doing. So it's very much in terms of the type of drama that he would come up with. He's a very dramatic guy. He loves dramatic. Like I said, he likes to play a prank. He likes to do a little sneak. So yeah, that's a good point, that he would not only know that she might survive that, but also like know how much that would hurt her psychologically to wound her in the exact same way. Like, he is thinking, he's not just like a beast physically, he is like, the level of mental anguish he's in has made him well aware of putting other people in that position. And it's scary.
And this is one of those parts that kind of illustrates the thought that if you go into it without expectations, you can be surprised. And that fight with Reva is one of those instances where I got something that I didn't even know I needed. You know, I didn't foresee him stopping a ship. I did not foresee him fighting Sand Saber at all. And he did that, plus taking hers and then giving us saber throws. It's like I want to almost encourage everyone out there not to set those expectations, because once you see something that surprises you, it could have a better effect than actually satisfying what you wanted to see. Because that was incredible.
Well, I mean, there's an analogy I used to use all the time, and I haven't in a while, but like, if it's a hot day and someone hands you a glass of water and you drink it and it turns out it's Sprite, you're going to spit it out because that's not what you were expecting, even if you love Sprite. It's that expectation, you know. And if you were coming into this with kind of a more willing to roll with it, to let the story wash over you, then yeah, you will always have a better time like that. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I did want to point out is I just loved how the lesson that Vader, because this is through his flashbacks, he's remembering this lesson that Obi-Wan taught him, and he is learning from that lesson. And also Obi-Wan is kind of a dick because he knew what was going to happen. You know what I mean? Obi-Wan played Reva, but he played Reva because Reva was exactly how Anakin used to be. And he's, you can even see when they talk, he knows, like, no, help us. You can be on the same side as me with this. And but she was so focused on that victory that, you know, bad things were going to happen.
Yeah.
I wonder how long I've been frozen.
You just went black a second ago to me.
Your camera down. Taking kind of like a slight 92-degree turn for episode highlights. I actually like seeing Haja again at the thing.
Same.
Okay, this is going to be a really hot take, and please do not get mad at me for this, but in a way, he's almost like a strange Jar Jar character to me, because he's just kind of there. I'm not sure how much he's, especially in this episode, like, no offense to the character, how much he's actually adding to this episode, except for like comic relief, which I genuinely appreciated. No. But then even him saying it's like I had nowhere else to be, but this is a great business opportunity. I'm just like, can Hondo pick you up somewhere? Because I'm getting serious Hondo vibes from you. I mean, I still absolutely love his character, because I think we do need that plucky comic relief that we definitely got from like R2 or and 3PO. But even now, him repeating what Leia was saying, it's like, hey, Leia, are you ready? He's like, dude, you need to shut up right now and let me concentrate. Like, she's still working. I was like, bro, everyone heard her in the chamber. I still absolutely love his character though. But it was just like, oh, you're back. I don't know why you're here, but I'll take you.
I like seeing that he didn't die, because I just assumed he was dead. Like you don't cross Reva and stuff and like be okay after that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was nice to see him, but he does feel in his place in the story like Jar Jar and Hondo had a baby.
I love that.
Yeah.
Could we also just RIP shout out to Tala and Ned B? I mean, I also kind of had a feeling that Tala wasn't going to make it to a degree, even though her character was so short-lived. It sort of made sense, especially with her talking to Obi-Wan, kind of unprompted, but she had to like get it off her chest, like why he turned, and her just holding on to all that guilt and her trying to make reparations for the massacre of that family. And then I don't know if anybody else interpreted it this way, but I thought it was a great Clone Wars callback with the tick marks. Also, could somebody, I don't know if I got it correctly. Is it the tick marks were either like, when she says everyone I get through, was it like every mission to get someone to safety, or was it to kill somebody? Like, what were the tick marks actually representing?
I interpreted, sorry, go ahead, Julia.
Well, I thought it was like people she's rescued or like gotten to safety, but that's how I interpreted that.
I also interpreted it that way, but also it was the same amount of people who died in the massacre thing, and so that part confused me.
Well, I think it also means she'd come full circle, so it makes sense that maybe she evened out, and so for her character to kind of meet that. But yeah, it wasn't super clear. It was a very quick shot, so it wasn't easy to figure out.
But as soon as she said all that, I was like, yeah, she's gonna die. Like,
yeah, well, like, yeah, the first time we meet her, she's like, "Hello, here is my backstory," and I'm like, "Okay,
you gave us too much at once. We got off you. I'm sorry."
And she has one last heartfelt conversation with Obi-Wan. I'm like, "R.I.P. It was nice knowing you." But yeah, she was good. I liked her, even the small amount of time we had with her.
It's kind of like when you're watching an anime and then like you get a filler episode that's all about this like tertiary character, and you're like, "Oh, I liked them."
Yeah, about 99 in Clone Wars. I will talk about that man anytime, any day. Yeah.
I'm back.
Hi.
Eleanor's return.
I could hear you guys the whole time. I was just fiddling with cables. Is all.
Yeah.
So, I'm back.
Anything to add to what we had said?
Yeah.
No, I think for the most part, I largely agree with what everyone has said so far. Have we discussed finale predictions yet?
I don't think so.
We have not.
Choco, why don't we start with you?
We need Qui-Gon.
Oh.
We need Qui-Gon.
Both.
Always Quinlan. But we need Qui-Gon to talk. I think that really does have to happen. Also, I mean, I've said it before, but Reva now finding out that he was there protecting like Luke, and I had someone like, "Oh, well, why did Bail like reveal all the information?" And he probably did give a little bit too much, but most of what he said would be nonsense to any person other than Obi-Wan and Reva. Yeah. Like it would have no meaning only to those people, and she can put together those last few pieces. But she's going to go to Tatooine, and she is going to want to kill the offspring of Anakin as her revenge, but has to come to grips with this will make her Anakin. This will make her be doing the same exact thing that was done to her, that caused her all that trauma, and she's going to eventually have to decide to walk away. Although half of the fan base probably thinks she's going to kill Luke, and they're going to retcon all of Star Wars.
Let's see here. Tommy P agrees. Choco, Obi-Wan needs to let Qui-Gons be bygones. So I actually disagree a little bit, because I think since Luke has never seen a lightsaber, I think she's going to be intercepted by Quinlan or Obi-Wan, and prevent that from happening. I just don't think that they're going to bring Luke into this in any meaningful way other than that he's the target.
Yeah. I assumed he'd be sleeping.
Yeah, and then just like nothing happens with him, like she's intercepted. Young.
Oh, I have two friends who think that Owen's actually going to kill Reva. Or, sorry, is it Reva or Reva? I keep saying it wrong.
I think she says Reva.
Okay, so yeah, two of my friends think that Owen's actually going to kill Reva. One of my mutuals, who has become one of my like emotional support Star Wars mutuals, made a TikTok, JK Comics. It's what his handle is. I'm so sorry, Jamal. I'm a terrible person. I don't remember your handle. I'll make a TikTok and tag him. But he's went back to episode 1 with the conversation between Reva and Owen, and basically said death flag, death flag, death flag, death flag. So we might actually get to see Owen just be Uncle Owen. Either that, or my other potential prediction is that the kids are going to be in perilous danger, and something at the very last minute, Reva's going to be like, screw it, I'm saving these kids because I'm too far gone. There's no redemption for me, and this is my redemption. That's my 2 cents on that one.
Yeah,
I kind of like that. Kind of gives me Martian Chronicles vibes, like the very first short story where the human comes and the Martian goes out and then comes back, and they're like, what happened? Like, I heard gunshots. I'm like, don't worry about it. But I also I agree, although I kind of want her to sneak in, see Luke like sleeping, decide for herself not to kill him, and then as she's leaving, get shot in the back, and you have Joel Edgerton like, haha, vermin, and you're like, oh, that was dark.
Or it's Baru who shoots her, because I feel like Baru could go complete Mama Bear as well.
Yeah,
True.
told you to stay away from Luke.
I told you I killed vermin.
yeah.
That'd be great. Sad but great.
Julia, your predictions.
Yeah, I mean, I think, thinking about the heart of the show and seeing the Obi-Wan we see in A New Hope, who's very confident. He's traumatized. He's saddened. He still has this sort of darkness, but he's come to terms with that, and he has a sort of confidence and calmness about him. And he's clearly not there yet, right? He's clearly still unsure of himself, even if in this last episode he was more in that leadership position again. How does that come about? How does he finally sort of come back into a sense of his confidence as a Jedi? And I think Qui-Gon is absolutely part of that. I think he's called for Qui-Gon now 3 times. You know what I mean? Like, there's this sort of motif of calling for Qui-Gon, and I think we will eventually at least hear from him and sort of get that final mentorship that he needs in order to return to the, if not the version of him that we saw in the past, the sort of new version of himself. Fern and I were talking about this archetypal role, and he plays the mentor role in the original trilogy. And how does he get to that point, right? He has to feel like he has wisdom to impart. So he has to get there. And so I think that will involve facing Vader again and also hearing from Qui-Gon. So those are the 2 things I'm expecting from him. In terms of how the whole showdown is going to go down, I don't, even thinking about that now in terms of like Reva going to Tatooine, I just know people are going to be mad about it regardless of what happens. So I don't even want to think about it too much. But I imagine she doesn't have a high likelihood of living in terms of the plot of someone who's out for revenge. It doesn't end well for the person who wants revenge. Usually you have to pay with your own life. I will say finding information that's way too much detail is another very Shakespearean thing. Like, someone drops a letter and you're like, this letter reveals all the information about X, Y, or Z, and then I have it, and then like they scurry off for their plot. So there's a lot of really good, like very old-fashioned storytelling happening, but that's what I'm thinking is Obi-Wan's gonna have his like, I can't even think of really, when Harry Potter, all the ghosts of his family appear to him and are like, "You can do it." Kind of that type of moment where he gets encouragement from Qui-Gon or whoever to, finally face Vader and then do what he needs to do to maybe save Luke or whoever it is.
I think that actually, if Reva does die, it would be kind of cool if they did a parallel between Maul and Obi-Wan in Rebels. As in this arm. I don't know. Again, my brain likes to make me as sad as possible. I'm like, oh, that would be sad.
Well, especially the line, "He will avenge us," because in that scene, Maul is very much a victim of Palpatine, and Vader at this point as terrible as he is also a victim of Palpatine. And so the idea that all of these people had their lives ruined by Palpatine, and Maul is recognizing it in that moment, I could very much see Reva thinking about Vader, thinking about the Emperor, and realizing that it will be okay, but she won't get to see it, which is the tragedy.
Yeah,
That was the second sister's last words as well. No, I love. Well, for one thing, what you said about Qui-Gon makes me feel like Qui-Gon is Beetlejuice, and he just hasn't said his name enough time.
You have to say it 3 times. Exactly.
Much
Exactly
like how if I say Corky Kenobi enough times, you show up.
Here.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
I remember a time when Julia was just everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, whoever was live on TikTok, they were in the
People
live.
don't go live on TikTok as much anymore, for one thing.
I mean, I've been seeing less and less of it. But let's get Young over 1,000, and so she can go live. And then let's get Cal 4 over 1,000 so that they can go live. And we'll all just go live together and fill in that gap so that Julia can be in all of our chats at once.
Speaking of Cal 4, don't leave this stream, but after this stream, you can catch him on Twitch. He's playing Dead by Daylight.
Twitch.tv/Cal4. That's not foyer or foyer, as in like household things, but 4 RER. As far as my own predictions, I've learned not to make too many so that I am not wrong, but I'm gonna go ahead anyway. I think that Quinlan Voss still has potential to show up within this narrative, even if it's like at the very end when Obi-Wan has had that catalytic moment that Julia speaks of, and then he's found his groove and he's off to return to Tatooine. He sees that Voss is handling things with the path, and he's like, you can go and you can be that guardian again and protect the boy. I've got things on this end. And Obi-Wan walks off towards his ship, and then he turns around on the ramp, and Quinlan Voss and Cal Kestis look back at him and go, and then Obi-Wan boards the ship and flies off, and then there's a
Pep, you can't just say what your action figures were doing earlier and pretend that.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Let the man dream.
That is my right.
I'm happy other people still have hope for things appearing. I really loved this show, but this is a Skywalker saga show. So I do unfortunately think the name drop is the extent of what we'll see of a character like Quinlan, but I'm glad it was there. I love that some characters that are important in his life have gotten mentioned in this show. Even if the one that I care about is not going to be, I'm happy that there are some that are. I have to be a little bitter about it. He's been called Ben the entire show, and they're just like, where does this come from? I don't know. And I realize it's in a book, but I don't super love that there's so much of his character that is stuff you have to, I don't know. There's still a lot of it that to me is, I feel like they really could have brought in more references to his life, because like that Quinlan reference took up zero time at all, and it made people so happy. So I realize they might not have time for like a full character appearance, but there's a lot of important people that like haven't been mentioned. So yeah,
I'm just having fun, really. I mean,
No,
I definitely wouldn't be sad if Quinlan Voss didn't show up, but I just say it so that when it happens, I'm like, yay, I was right.
I don't like to get people's hopes up because if I say things, sometimes people think that like it's gonna happen, and I never want to. Yeah.
I just like to have fun. Like, also, like, I know now that perhaps it is highly unlikely that Hondo shows up, even though they mentioned Florum. But I like to think that maybe it can happen. Just maybe.
I want to see Hondo show up in like the same way that Doc shows up in Back to the Future at the end. Like he's like, "We gotta go," and he's like, "What's happening? For profit!" And then they run off, and then like that's how it ends. And you're like,
Beautiful.
the hell? Like, no, okay. What is the over and the under on this? On a Qui-Gon appearance before the final Vader fight? Or after the final Vader fight?
It's
Before.
Yeah, it's more likely to happen before.
Okay.
Do you think
I mean,
it's after?
I can see both possibly happening. I want it to be before. I want him to be Obi-Wan to be like, I'm not that guy anymore, and then Qui-Gon to be like, yes, you need to be someone new. You're not facing the same issues that you were before. You need to be Alec Guinness. You should look up some. He's a British actor. You should go check out his stuff. But I could also see when everything's down and laid bare after the fight, and he's like, his heart's ripped out because of having to fight Anakin again. I could also see Qui-Gon coming to him in that moment too.
I actually was just thinking about that. Like if he showed up after, it would be Qui-Gon coming to Obi-Wan. It's like, are you ready to hear me now, my old Padawan? Again, it's been confirmed that he's closed himself off from the Force because of just trauma, but he has opened himself enough more, and I think that fighting Vader would be the final, I guess you could say, like barrier in his fully opening back up to the Force to allow Qui-Gon to come back through. So I definitely agree with you there, Choco. Either way, I mean, if we get Qui-Gon, I will be happy no matter what. So
I think that's probably the only thing that could make me a little bit disappointed in the show. If there is absolutely nothing with Qui-Gon, I'm just gonna be like, oh, that's such a missed opportunity, Star Wars.
You can have your dude bro moment with that, because I will dude bro with you. It's like, bitch, we should go.
Well, I mean, that is textual. They've already mentioned Qui-Gon. There's already an ongoing subplot of him trying to reach Qui-Gon. So in terms of things I'm predicting that will happen, a lot of stuff people are saying is external, whereas the Qui-Gon thing is something the show itself has presented. So that's where I sort of feel more confident with that, is it's something the show has already put time and energy into. Because this is such an economical show, spending any time referencing Qui-Gon at all and him reaching out seems like everything they've done so far, again, has come back up because they only have so much time. So I'm much more confident in that being part of the plot already.
Yeah.
I actually have one question for everybody here. Like, because there are the rumors that season 2 is in the talks. Do you think this final episode could set us up for a potential season 2? And do you think that is something that should happen?
It's tough to speculate what kind of story they could tell in a season 2. Because if this ends with Qui-Gon, or not Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan kind of accepting his lot in life and returning to Tatooine to protect the boy, then we have a season 2 of just him in the desert, and
which I'm fine with.
I'm fine with too, but like that's the season. That's the whole season. I don't
that
think
means I get plug eye. I'm in.
it just means that like they can't spin another conflict with Vader again and just kind of reuse it. So I'm on board for season 2. I know that the story is a little bit, bare bones after this one. There's comics and panels of his entire time on Tatooine. We could definitely use those scenes. But it all depends on how the finale ends. Yeah. If it does end like on a cliffhanger, then of course they're going to kind of take advantage of another season to kind of draw things out. But if it is like the final rematch and then they part, and then the next time they see each other is A New Hope, then I don't see a reason for a season 2. But what do you guys think?
I'm leaning towards there shouldn't be a season 2 per se, but like the Ahsoka show is based off of Rebels.
It's Rebels season
Right?
5. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
But that's what I want. Like, don't give me a season 2, but you can take this time period and you can take some of the characters that we've introduced and you could tell a new story with those people. And I think that'd be great. Like, one of my favorite examples of this is if you read the Phasma book. It's an awesome book. If you like Mad Max in space, like, that's what it is, and it just works. But like the book Black Spire is a sequel to it. But like it's an entirely different thing, and it accomplishes different things. And I would love to get that type of energy.
Yeah, I love that. Like the path, as you were saying, Pep. I think that's a fun idea to spin off with this idea of like the smuggling of Jedi and Force sensitive people, and Obi-Wan could definitely be involved in that in some way, not as like the main character, but as part of his return to helping the galaxy. That's something he still manages to find a way to be helpful.
Yeah, and that's what that would kind of fix a lot more in A New Hope, where Obi-Wan is not like this beat down old man. He's very confident. He comes in with the great dragon noise, and he's eclectic, basically. Or eccentric, not eclectic. But I think the path thing is a good thing. I think like it's kind of like High Republic almost, this whole initiative where you can go from book to book, different characters, different narrative, but in the same era and universe. And so they could definitely do an offshoot show based in this time period and give us an original story. And I'd totally watch that show too. I don't know if we answered your question, Young, but
No, you did, because I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like where could a season 2 potentially go? And actually, someone in the chat said Darth Man 86, the events leading up to Kenobi meeting Ezra and Maul. So yeah, I think the Path's story with him showing up as like a guest star could really answer those questions. But I mean, I would love season 2 because I think Ewan definitely had a blast making Kenobi again. But this is like, where could we potentially go? And we don't want to be, a dead horse with a stick, but but I want more.
Another potential season 2 show would be Crimson Dawn, and we could follow Maul and
Kira.
In this time.
Well, we don't know how he loses control, right? Like that's something I want to know is like, how does he go from crime lord to like weird old hermit in the desert, much like, or in the temple, much like Obi-Wan, like, hello, Ezra, I'm not dangerous at all. And Ezra's like, sure. So yeah, Ezra just trusts him immediately, which is the funniest thing to me.
The way Maul refers to him as our Padawan, just makes me. Did anyone else find it strange though that Ezra didn't mention Obi-Wan when he got back? He's like, "Oh yeah, I was just in the desert. Don't worry about it." Anyways, what are we doing next?
Some guy was there. I mean, that's very Ezra though. He doesn't really know what's going on.
That's true.
Maybe he was so clued in that he just knew that speaking of it would be, detrimental to everything in the galaxy, in the world of ice cream. I don't know why I got that with ice cream.
I don't think Ezra thinks that deep into things sometimes. Not just our boy, but also, where is our boy?
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is super random, but this thought just came to me, and I'm gonna make it y'all's problem. All right. Reva goes to Tatooine. She sneaks into the Lars homestead and finds Luke's bed with him sleeping under the covers, and she decides to go through with it. She ignites her lightsaber, swings down, and all of a sudden, a lightsaber turns on and catches it. A little green lightsaber. Yoda came to Tatooine, told the Lars, like, listen, here's a couple $, stay in town tonight. And Yoda said that, and he's just like,
Looking? Find someone you have to say.
And then he proceeds to shrink her with his lightsaber.
I mean, I would shit myself. He could also be coming to check in on Obi-Wan's progress with communicating with Qui-Gon, because he is going to, like, that was mentioning.
He's given homework.
Yeah.
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 Like, have you finally gotten your shit together after 10 years, Obi-Wan, sir?
He doesn't even have a house. You know what I want to see? I want to see episode 6 is actually just House Hunters Tatooine. It's Obi-Wan deciding to move out of the cave. What do you think that box of money is for? That box of money is for so he can finally buy property. It's much like Joshua Tree. Like it's actually very expensive, and so you have to like really save up to find your little place. He has a house, right? So I want to see him seeing 3 different properties. Is there anyone on Tatooine? Like we can bring in a character from the comics as a real estate agent. I think.
It would absolutely be Plug Eye. Like he has a Tuscan real estate agent with 1 gem for an eye, and they're like, I can spot deals. Like they have like they have ads on benches and stuff like that.
Like
That's kind of like her shtick.
I feel like Choco's Quinlan Voss's Plug Eye at this point.
Yeah.
On Tatooine, yes.
Oh man, there's so many stories in this time period that we can explore, and I really hope that Star Wars continues to just kind of fill out the galaxy. I know there's a lot of desire to see new and original stories. Taika Waititi, who is in an interview, said that his movie, he really wants it to just be new things, new characters, new stories, new time period. I don't know if it was a new time period, but he definitely wants a lot of original things and not like, let's explore this. Let's explore Luke when he was 29 or something like that. It's just, I agree with him to a certain extent, but there's still a lot of stories to be told that are original, that are within these time periods. And that's simply because I am just, day in and day out, never going to give up Quinlan Voss.
You should.
Never gonna give him up.
Speaking of, did you guys see the plot synopsis for Convergence?
No.
The Zoraida Cordova. Let's just say Jedi romance novel inspiration. I am very excited what they have released in terms of that novel synopsis. I am very much looking forward to it. So, speaking of new characters, I think this is going to be a book for Julia.
It's gonna be a book for me for sure.
Yeah.
Young, do you read any of the Star Wars books?
I just started getting into it. I started with Dark Disciple. Also, I've been bugging one of my neutrals, Bruce Greystorm. You guys should also follow him. He's my other Star Wars emotional support neutral. But
he's in here a lot, actually.
Yeah. He's a member.
He's a great person. He's the one who actually found our portion of the conversation of me making the Reaper prediction, because I stopped after I sent a lot of TikToks. It's a problem, but I stopped and he's like, "Oh, I found it." I'm like, "Damn, boy, you went by far." Anyway, back on track. I started with Dark Disciple, and everyone should read that, especially if you are a Ventress and/or Quinlan Voss stan in any capacity. And then I've also read the 3 main High Republic books. So I'm going to read more, but it's just, I also have a stack of 10 books that I got from a book sale that I still need to read from a year ago.
Book haul?
So,
what was that? Or was that all Star Wars books, or was it just a
Oh no, it was just books at the local library where I'm at. And it was an actual problem. I had so many books, people kept offering me a box. I'm like, no, I'm only gonna buy what I can carry. I may look like I'm struggling, which I am, but I cannot get any more. This is what I can handle physically. This is what I can read physically. Maybe. But I mean, I will actually probably ask you, Julia, for just your book list of your top to read versus just I'll take it all.
Depending on what you're interested in, you kind of have a lot of different ways you can go. So
I will for sure put the umbrella recommendation out there to get into the High Republic. It's it's on break right now. It's coming back in October, so there's a lot of time to catch up to the main books, and if you're interested in the comics or the the junior novels and the YAs, then for sure.
The YAs are really good. Midnight Horizon is my favorite High Republic book, and that's the third in the young adult trilogy.
Yeah.
So Reith Silas is a special little guy, and I think you would love him.
I probably will.
Absolutely. I think High Republic is in your future.
I mean, it already is, but I mean, just to actually get into everything that's out now, it will happen. I've also ruined my eyes just looking at TikTok, especially from Celebration. So I might have to take a step back because my glasses have already been up on its prescription last year, but I can feel that it's not quite there anymore. And like, I blame Celebration, but I also am so appreciative for you guys who were able to attend Celebration to take the time to make those TikToks to show us what was happening. It's like the FOMO was so strong with me and a lot of my friends and mutuals on TikTok. It's like, I want to go to London so badly, but life and in this economy.
Yeah, it's understandable for sure, but we're definitely going to manifest it for you. You're also friends with Bruce Greatstorm, so for sure High Republic is in your future. Thank you so much for tuning in, Tommy P. Hope you have a good night. May the force be with you as well.
Can I just say, Lost Stars and Bloodline.
Yeah.
I know those are going to be pretty high on Julia's list, so like I don't have to say it, but I just want to say it in general.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
All right, so we are just about out of time for this episode of Dyad in the Force. Does anybody have any final thoughts or any kind of parting words they wanted to say before we wrap things up?
Just thank you. Seriously, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I love this community I have found, and I really, really freaking appreciate it. And I am sad that we only have one more episode. Actually, last question. Has it been confirmed that this last episode is going to be like an hour and 30 minutes?
It has.
That's the rumor.
I've heard everyone and their grandma say it. I've tried to trace them back, and all of them I've found are referencing each other.
Okay.
I have traced it back to a listing on for a Cineplex showing of the finale that someone is putting on. However, that includes a 30-minute Q&A. So the runtime doesn't come from any kind of like Disney Plus listing. It's just that Cineplex showing that they have a Q&A for. So it could be as long as an hour, because that's an hour 30 minutes, a 30-minute Q&A. But nothing is confirmed as of this moment.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll take like whatever. So, but again, thank you. Y'all are amazing, and just thank you.
Well, thank you for replying and for coming on and being with us and hanging out, because it is quite a daunting experience. Just from my
especially
own
with Clarice looming in the background.
Yeah, she kept an eye on us this whole time. So luckily she's been good. No funny business this time.
I just know that there's a lot of people that we've wanted on Dyad that have not had that decided not to be on, or just for personal reasons that they don't want to go through with it. So I definitely appreciate everyone's efforts, and especially yours, Young, to take the message and reply and come on with us and hang out. Julia, any final words, parting thoughts?
I feel like I'm the type of person who, like, I won't really get to experience the Obi-Wan Kenobi show truly until like 5 years from now. I kind of feel like it's been this whole hype train and like the getting up at early in the morning and like to really sit with it. So I'm excited to like have this series to return to really dig into and enjoy kind of on my own terms. It started off really rough. They dropped it early and I wasn't expecting that. So I kind of didn't get to have that really exciting experience with friends. That whole experience, the premiere was really, really sad. That was a rough weekend. And so I'm kind of, thinking in the future, it'll be nice to really go back to this and watch it as a sort of whole thing, because it is really one story. So I'm very much looking forward to the finale. I feel like I need to put something out there. Like if there's any mention to Satine, I'll like shave my head or something. I got to do something out in the universe so that they say something finally about the name. But I think that's pretty much it. Young, it was really nice to meet you. And yeah, this
Lovely.
community is excellent. This is the most friends I've ever had in my entire life. So this community has meant a lot to me in terms of actually having friends. That's a very exciting development in my life over the past year and a half. But yeah, those are really my final thoughts. Is I'm gonna cry when Qui-Gon appears. I'm gonna cry real hard.
He's gonna be here. Also, Julia, get a tattoo. That's gonna happen. If we get
I already said that I'm gonna do that for Corky, so I can't. I feel like I don't want to put 2 tattoos out in the universe because that's dangerous.
You can get another dog.
I could get another dog. Yeah, I could do that.
This is why we do this, and just the community and the commiseration with everybody. I know, Julia, you said that you had committed to London.
Yep, I'm going. Yep. I will be there.
That is fantastic.
What changed? You were.
This is gonna sound strange, but like I feel more comfortable going to London than to Anaheim. Like I feel like it's gonna be smaller, for one thing, which is gonna be good for me personally. And also, I think there'll be more places for me to escape. Like a big convention center like that, I feel like it's harder to find a place where you can go. Where London, it's going to be, you can sort of, I don't know. It probably doesn't make sense logically to other people, but it just wasn't. I wasn't ready emotionally at this time to go this year, and I didn't realize it was going to be next year already. I thought I was going to have to wait 3 years, and so I'm gonna do it, and I have a whole year to prepare socially to be okay with it.
Okay. Beautiful. We're excited.
And we have also committed as the Dyad to, if you guys are interested in a small little trivia tournament we are holding called Battle of the Dyads, which is a 2-person team-based Jeopardy-style trivia tournament. We have committed, given that the ticket sale experience does not falter this time around, that the winners will get 4-day passes.
Ooh.
So, willing or seeing that we'll be able to get extra badges ourselves, that is the plan for the prize for the Battle of the Dyads. So hopefully that goes smoothly, and we can get some more people over to London that haven't been to Celebration. And I know that DePaul is going to have some giveaways as well, over on his channel. If you don't follow him, it's at Jedi Master DePaul. He has some lightsaber giveaways, and I'm pretty sure he's going to have some raffles for 4-day passes as well as soon as those tickets go on sale and we're able to grab some. Also, to announce, Andor is coming up. And closer to August, we are going to start scheduling our watch-along rosters for each week. And I will also be updating the Dyad episode list. So be sure to sign up when you can and let us know if you want to be on a watch-along at any given point. You will also get an invite to I like to think of it as like the SNL like jacket club. Like, you will get an invite, Young, and you'll be able to sign up for those watch-alongs and stuff. Choco, do you have any final thoughts?
I can't wait. I just can't wait. It's going to be beautiful and glorious and wonderful. And I am going to definitely check on Julia because she might expire. Same with Mara J. Skywalker, as well as Holly Deanne. I need to make sure I check on a few people after this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we just need like a convention center that is dedicated to the support group, right? I mean,
I was going to say we need a support group for all of the emotional damage that we're all experiencing and will
add Young to that too. I mean, I think everyone is going to start needing some.
We need to arrange our own celebration.
What'd you say, Choco?
We need to arrange our own celebration.
Oh man, what is it gonna be? Is it gonna be like Dyad Con?
Just plan, a time where everyone can come out and just vibe and do stuff.
That is true. I mean, I like, so I have given this thought, and yes, this is completely the truth. Like, if we did have a Dyad Con, one of our first panels would be proctored with, or hosted by Julia. And it would be the Truther panel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would love to do a full panel. I actually have to go. I'm home with my mom right now, and we only have one vehicle, and I must pick her up. So I have to head out now, unfortunately. I know I'm kind of, we're ending here soon. But...
Yeah, we're about to end anyway, so so go ahead if you need to go right now, but I'm just about to close things out.
Okay,
guys,
that's good. Okay.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Dyad in the Force episode 80. Thank you to Young and thank you to Julia for hanging out with us today. And of course, a big thank you to our Dyad Squadron members. I will not be saying every name. We're growing in size, but thank you guys so much for the support and the love, without which we wouldn't be able to continue doing this week after week. But with that said, I think that is the end. On to the next one.
For light and for life.
We are all the Republic.
And Quinlan, please be okay.
As our voice saying. May the Force be with you guys. Thank you again.